Most people have seen the Ouroboros, the ancient image of a serpent devouring its own tail, as nothing more than an old mystical design printed on forgotten scrolls or hidden in alchemical diagrams. But what if that symbol wasn't meant to be interpreted, but activated? The Ouroboros isn't a metaphor. It's a code, a loop embedded in the fabric of hermetic wisdom, meant to awaken those ready to dissolve and reconstruct the self. Those who understood energy didn't just draw the Ouroboros, they used it as a portal, as a map. It represents not just eternity, but the inner technology of spiritual rebirth. The serpent eating its tail shows the end feeding the beginning, collapse as a trigger for ignition, and yet we look at it and feel nothing, as if the symbol is just symbolic. What if it's waiting to be completed? Not on the page, but within you. What if you are the one who must close the circle, not with understanding, but with transformation? The Ouroboros has no beginning and no end, and that's the point. It's a mirror of your inner state, where endings and beginnings are illusions created by linear time. Those who practiced inner alchemy understood this. You don't transform by building on the past, you transform by letting it collapse entirely. In its looping form, the Ouroboros teaches that rebirth is not a forward motion, but a return to source, to self, to the silence before identity. The snake devours its tail not out of destruction, but to maintain its own continuity. Just like you. You don't grow by avoiding pain or patching wounds. You grow by consuming the outdated parts of yourself, by digesting them consciously. That's what the alchemists meant by solve et coagula, dissolve and reform. The Ouroboros activates the moment you realize this. Transformation is not change. Transformation is consumption, and the fire that fuels it is already inside you. The Ouroboros is a self-sustaining loop, not because it's closed, but because it feeds on itself. And this is where the real mystery begins. To activate this symbol within yourself, you must be willing to become both the devourer and the devoured. The part of you that wants to evolve must also be ready to consume the part that resists. This isn't metaphor, it's a living psychological mechanism. Every time you face discomfort and choose awareness over escape, you're performing an inner alchemy. You are the snake, you are the tail, and the more you consciously digest your fears, your patterns, your outdated beliefs, the more whole you become. The Ouroboros doesn't demand perfection, it demands digestion. It doesn't ask you to escape your flaws. It teaches you to metabolize them, because only through self-consumption can true rebirth happen. And the moment you accept that, something dormant inside you begins to stir. The energy loop comes alive, not as theory, but as experience. If this truth resonates with something deep inside you, if some part of you remembers the fire, then don't just watch. Join the cycle, subscribe, and turn on the bell. Let this not be another forgotten insight, but the first step in becoming who you truly are. True alchemists never sought gold, they sought transformation, and the Ouroboros was their guide. In hermetic texts, the serpent is not just a symbol of eternity. It's a process, a discipline, a cycle you choose to enter with full awareness, knowing that the self you are must die for the self you can be to rise. This isn't poetic philosophy, it's brutal inner work. When you consciously face the parts of you that sabotage, deflect, or deny your growth, and transmute them instead of ignoring them, you become the Ouroboros, not the image, the function. This is what spiritual regeneration truly means, to become the mechanism of your own evolution, to feed on your ignorance, digest your illusions, and metabolize your wounds until nothing is wasted, until even your pain becomes fuel, until nothing within you is left unconscious. And when that happens, the Ouroboros no longer represents you, it becomes you. The Ouroboros doesn't just symbolize eternity, it teaches you how to live eternally in each moment. It asks, can you become the fire that consumes your lesser self over and over without end? Can you allow your ego to dissolve without needing to resurrect it every time it feels discomfort? This is the initiation most never complete, because to embody the Ouroboros means to walk a path of continuous death and conscious rebirth, not once, not twice, always. To activate it inside you, you must learn to love disintegration, to welcome the moments when your beliefs collapse, when your identity cracks open, when your story no longer fits, because those are the precise moments when the snake begins to turn inward, when the Ouroboros starts to feed, not just on pain, but on the meaning behind the pain. And the more you let it feed, the more awake you become. Not enlightened, awake, because awakening is not a destination, it's digestion. To live as the Ouroboros is to become your own initiator, no guide, no map, only the fire of awareness and the willingness to descend. And this descent isn't into darkness, it's into truth, into the underlayers of identity where old programs still run. Here, you're not trying to escape pain, you're trying to integrate it. You become the observer and the alchemist, watching your reactions without judgment, watching the mind resist change and still choosing to digest it anyway. That's the secret. Digestion is choice. The Ouroboros activates not when you understand it, but when you live like it. Every discomfort, every resistance, every old trigger becomes raw material. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What part of me needs to be fed to the fire?" Because the fire isn't punishment, it's refinement. And if you can endure the heat, something within you stops breaking and begins forging. The true magic of the Ouroboros begins when you stop seeing transformation as a goal and start seeing it as a rhythm. It's not something you achieve once and move on. It's something you cycle through, again and again, each time shedding a layer, each time stepping closer to your raw essence. The serpent doesn't eat its tail once, it devours it endlessly. Why? Because the self is never static. It's a living system that demands constant renewal. This is the forgotten wisdom, that evolution isn't linear, it's spiral. You return to the same patterns, but each time with more clarity, more awareness, more power to respond instead of react. And each time you do, the Ouroboros within you tightens its loop, refining you, not to control, but to liberate. The symbol is not an ornament for the wise, it's a tool for the willing. And if you've made it this far, maybe you're ready to stop studying the Ouroboros and start becoming it. Becoming the Ouroboros doesn't mean reaching enlightenment. It means choosing to burn again and again for the sake of becoming more real, more raw, more awake. And here's the truth most won't tell you. This path is not glamorous. It's not always peaceful. It's not about perfecting yourself. It's about deconstructing what you were never meant to be. The Ouroboros invites you to step into a fire that doesn't destroy you, but reveals you. Every old belief that melts, every false identity that crumbles, brings you closer to essence. And essence is not built, it's uncovered. What this symbol teaches is simple but terrifying. You are both the creator and the destroyer of your inner world. And if you accept that role, the universe stops being something you observe and starts becoming something you embody. Not just infinite, but alive inside you. And that is the ultimate alchemy, when the cycle is no longer separate from the self, but is the self. If you had to burn one part of yourself forever, a belief, a habit, a fear, what would it be?